Donc c'est In C de Terry Riley.
In C by Terry Riley.
So In C was written in 1964 by Terry Riley. The premise behind the piece
Terry
is
Riley,
that
donc il fait partie d'un peu de cette mouvance.
In the key of C? Oh, C major?
Welcome to Tell Me About In C, the podcast about Terry Riley's minimalist music masterpiece, In C. I'm your host, Wesley Cheney. In today's episode, I'm talking to Alaina Shaw, a violist out of Virginia Beach, who founded La Primavera Strings, Coastal Virginia's premier string quartet, and is also a violist with Symphonicity. Let's listen to our interview now. All right, welcome to Tell Me About NC, Alaina Shaw. So tell me a little bit. What was your first introduction to NC?
So my first introduction to NC was at Afterglow Brewing in July of 2024. I actually had never heard of it before, so that was my first time reading it.
All right, and what was that first performance like?
It was exhilarating and chaotic. As a violist, I was really excited to explore my sound and how I could add richness and depth to the texture. Finding that balance between standing out and blending into the group was both challenging and rewarding for me.
All right, and when was the last time you listened to NC?
So I actually have been preparing for this for the past week. So I've been listening to all the videos, and I think my favorite to watch was Norfolk 2022. I really loved that clarinet voice in the mix, and I thought it was pretty cool that there was a saxophone player in it too.
Yeah, we had some great wins that time. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
And that was actually the first one I did. So I was turning 48,
that's awesome.
and I was like, what do I want to do for my birthday? I don't want to party. I don't want to go somewhere and spend a wad of cash. What I want to do is make music with my friends. So
Cool.
That's how that one came about.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad the first one was a hit.
What impact has NC had on you personally?
So, I think it's shown me the value of listening and responding within a group. As a violist, I feel like I've gained a deeper appreciation for how individual voices contribute to a greater whole. Because I'm used to hearing like very similar voices in the strings family, but I had never really played with any kind of other instruments outside of that, except for in a symphony. So it was really impactful for me.
Cool. And so I'm guessing the viola is probably the only instrument that you've played in C.
Yeah.
All right. How about the pulse? How well were you able to hear that during our performance?
It was constant. I really appreciated it. It kept me kind of in line with everyone, even though it was super chaotic. I feel like the steady pulse anchors the ensemble and provided like a vital foundation for experimentation. So I definitely really appreciated that there was the pulse and I could hear it.
Yeah, okay. All right, and what phrase of NC do you find yourself singing?
I think for me, I really liked phrase 35, or not 35, it was 49. 35 is
49.
the super long one. 49 was my favorite. I loved how the accidental added like a subtle twist, creating that like unexpected tension and color that made the phrase stand out in the flow and not in the piece, but I really loved the train in the background for my performance. I thought it added a cool like layer to the mix, and I noticed that in the first video that I watched. That's why I really liked that one too, because of the train in the background.
I'll have to. Yes, at the first one we had the train blowing its horn in the background.
Yeah.
Because there's the crossing of Colonial Avenue there. So yeah, I'll have to go back and pull that out and add that to the mix right here.
Yeah.
Let me well, how about loopers? Loopers, yes or no?
Definitely yes. I think, but sparingly. I think they're most effective when used to support the live performance without distracting from the collective energy.
Mhm.
So I would definitely say yes, just
Yeah.
sparingly.
I've played in C with a looper on my ukulele and without,
Mm,
and I gotta tell you, it is easier to play it with the looper because I can set a pattern going,
yeah.
and then I can take a break. I found that the first couple times I played in C, by about phrase 42, my hands were cramping from
Yeah.
constantly holding the strings fretted.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. I was like, man, my viola's getting heavy.
Yeah. Never mind playing on stage for 4.5 hours with Einstein on the beach and
Wow.
the violinist.
Yeah.
Is in C democratic?
I gotta think on that one. I wasn't prepared to answer that question.
I didn't have that. I just added that today,
Yeah.
based on a conversation that I was having with somebody in England. Um,
So, I think it could be considered democratic in its structure. Um, the piece is built around a series of short, repeating phrases that can be played in any order at any tempo, allowing for performers to have a high degree of like individual freedom.
mhm.
And each musician in the ensemble plays the same material, but they can interpret it and repeat sections based on their own timing and choices. So this gives everyone in the ensemble an equal role, and there's no clear like hierarchy and parts.
Yeah,
And I think that that's what makes it a highly collaborative and democratic experience.
yeah, I would agree with you on that one. I love how you are an individual in a group as opposed to a group of individuals.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's see what the next question is. I think I'm going to actually devote an episode. I'm not sure what the timeline on releasing this is going to be.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm going to do is, for our first round, just release the individual interviews. Like this part's going to get cut.
Hmm.
And then for a second round, I'm thinking of doing something that's more edited, where instead of in the interview format, it would follow more of a format that you would get in a limited series podcast.
Yeah.
Where there's a plot arc and there's individual episodes devoted to certain themes. So I think one of the themes will be one episode will be devoted to the question of how NC is democratic. It's something that I've come up across a couple of times, and I've heard Terry Riley speak on himself. So
Yeah, that's really
it's one of the
cool.
questions.
I like that.
Yeah. All right. How much improvisation should there be in NC?
I would say there should be room for improvisation, especially like in dynamics, phrasing, and timing. However, the framework of this piece is structured enough that improvisation should enhance and not overwhelm the collective sound. So, like, I think that you should still be reading the music and following the repeats and everything, but with like dynamics, like you were saying with the electric sax player, I think that you should definitely be improvising that part and making it your own color.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. All right, final question for you. What would you ask Terry Riley?
What would I ask Terry Riley? I think I would ask him how he envisions NC evolving over the next century, given that it's like super adaptable and you can add new instruments, new technologies, and like cultural influences. So I would ask him how he envisions it like evolving over time.
Is there anything else you want to say about NC?
I think that it's really cool that it's on YouTube because it's accessible to a wider audience, and I think it really allows performers to share like a diverse interpretation of this piece. Each one that I listened to was different, even though it's the same music on the same sheet, it's different every time though, which is really cool.
All right. Thanks, Alaina. I appreciate the talk.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
So thanks for listening to another episode of Tell Me About NC. If you love NC as much as I do and would like to appear as a guest on Tell Me About NC, drop me a line. My email address is friendwes@mac.com. That's FRIENDWES at mac.com. If you have a smartphone, Wi-Fi access, in a quiet room, we can have a remote conversation about how NC has changed your life. In the next episode of Tell Me About NC, I'll be interviewing John Lyon, an Englishman whom I met in the Terry Riley Facebook group. John bought the original Columbia release of NC back in the 60s and is an avid fan of minimalism to this day. Be sure not to miss the next episode by subscribing to Tell Me About NC now.